Hello, this is Bishop Manigault. Thank you for taking the time to stop by Bishop's Corner. Appreciate you stopping by and sharing today. I want to speak to you concerning a word from a lesson in the book of Joshua. In the book of Joshua, we read that after wandering for about 40 years in the wilderness, God had finally prepared his people to enter the land of promise. They were now being led by Joshua, the son of Nun. He had been Moses' minister, and after the death of Moses, God chose him to lead the people of Israel. Now, as you know, God had delivered Israel out of the land of Egypt. He delivered them out of the land of bondage. He desired to give them the promised land, but because they were not ready, they wandered in the wilderness for 40 years. God has delivered us, his people, from bondage many times. But because we too are a stiff-necked and often stubborn people, we don't always appreciate our deliverance. And as a result, we can't fully realize our blessing either. Too often we go longing for the leeks of Egypt. My brothers and sisters, you'll never get ahead by looking back. Don't allow today's dilemma to derail your tomorrow. Appreciate your deliverance and keep moving forward. Let me say that again. Appreciate your deliverance and keep moving forward. It is at these crucial times that we need to allow God to lead us. It was God who freed you, so why not let God lead you? If you don't allow God to lead you now that you have been freed, you will find yourself, like the Israelites, stuck in the wilderness. When you see people who can't seem to do better, even though you know they know better, you know that they are stuck in the wilderness. When you hear people complaining about what they didn't get, all the while ignoring what they did get, you know they are stuck in the wilderness. And when people refuse to live their lives God's way, but expect God somehow to bless them anyway, you better believe they are stuck in the wilderness. You see, my brothers and sisters, God did not deliver you from sin to leave you stuck in the wilderness. He did not set his name upon you to have it dragged through the mud. If you refuse to listen to God, you will find yourself wandering around and around in a circle of confusion, defeat, and despair. And I want you to know today that we are bound for the promised land, not for the wilderness. This world is not our final destination. Where you are right now is not where you are destined to remain. Yes, my brothers and sisters, we are on a journey of epic proportions. And with the Lord's help, I've come to realize that where I am right now is not where I'm going to be tomorrow, and it certainly is not my final destination. My present position is not my final position. Your present position is not your final position. Particularly for those of us who believe, we are bound for the promised land. And for those who choose not to believe, they too are bound for a journey that it is a final destination as well, but it's not the promised land. The promised land represents the place of blessing, the place of resting, the place of refuge. It represents the place where we can fulfill the God-ordained purpose for our lives. One songwriter put it this way: I was created for your glory, Lord. I was made to worship you. God created us for his glory, and it's in the promised land that he will show forth his glory through all of us. So on this journey called life, it's extremely important to remember that he who called us is also the one who leads us. He who leads us is also the one who helps us. The God who helps us is also the God who loves us. And the God who loves us is the God who saves us. David reminds us of this in Psalms 136, verses 6 through 8, where we read, though the Lord is on high, he looks upon the lowly, but the proud he knows from afar. Though I walk in the midst of trouble, you preserve my life. You stretch out your hand against the anger of my foes. With your right hand you save me. The Lord will fulfill his purpose for me. Your love, O Lord, endures forever. Do not abandon the work of your hands. My brothers and sisters, we are the work of God's hands. He will not abandon the good work that he has begun in us. And given that, if we ever expect to enter into the place that God has prepared for us, we should always remember that we are the work of God's hands. We should always remember that He will fulfill His purpose for our lives. And on our way to the promised land, there may be some stops along the way. There may be some Jordans to cross. There may be some Jerichos to fight in. But despite all of this, we should have the uttermost confidence that God will perfect all that concerns us. Why? Because the Lord will fulfill His purpose for our lives. Why? Because of His love for us that endures forever. Why? Because He will not abandon the work of His hands. Knowing this, it should then behoove all of us to reflect upon the wondrous blessing that God has given us through the gift of salvation. We are on a journey, my brothers and sisters, from earth to glory. We are on a route from the temporal to the eternal. We are on a journey from living the life that we made for ourselves to living the life that God has ordained for us. Indeed, we are bound for the promised land. Well, my time is up, but I do thank you for yours. Thank you for stopping by today. I appreciate your time, and may God bless you, and may heaven smile upon you. And until next time, bye-bye.